Good morning. I believe we're ready to get started on this momentous occasion. I'd like to welcome everybody to Governors State University. I am Dr. Cheryl Green, the sixth president of Governors State University. We are thrilled to gather this morning to celebrate, to recognize, and to thank all of those who have advocated on behalf of the South Suburban Airport for more than 30 years. This project has been a long time coming, but we have arrived. This day is here, and we need to celebrate that. About a year ago, we were pleased that GSU was the site of two local meetings for the Southland with elected officials and key stakeholders, where the idea for the legislation that became House Bill 2531 came from Representative Will Davis, the House sponsor. With support from the Southland delegation, the Senate sponsor, Senator Napoleon Harris, who is here, South Suburban mayors who are here in large numbers, and managers, the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce, and others. This was truly a group effort. Not long after that meeting, Rick Bryant met with me and gave me a detailed history of advocacy efforts and much more information than I had previously obtained. I was then able to take that knowledge forward and advocate to Will County, where I serve as a board member on the CED. Today, we celebrate that Governor Pritzker signed the bill that will direct the Illinois Department of Transportation to begin the process for identifying private sector corporations who want to finance and build the airport. A huge step forward in this process. The Southland is united in this effort, and GSU is proud to stand with elected officials, business, labor, and community leaders all collaborating to bring this transformative investment to the Southland. The GSU Supply Chain Innovation Center and Business Incubator eagerly awaits involvement in the airport planning and building every step of the process. But because we all know an individual, someone that we love, someone that we honor, someone that we respect, and for the sake of time, I am not going to give you her bio, because if you've ever been to anything, you've heard her bio. It takes a long time. Why? Because she has a lifetime of service and commitment and dedication and results. And results. So please let me take this moment to introduce to you someone you know, someone that has been an advocate for all of us, not just the Southland, but the state of Illinois for a very long time. It is my esteemed pleasure and honor to introduce to you Congressman Robin Kelly.
Thank you so much, Madam President, and I'm glad you didn't read that bio. First of all, I just want to thank everyone here who has reached out to share their memories and comfort me over the last few days in the loss of my husband. I just really appreciate it. But I called my staff a couple days ago and said, I got to be at that press conference because we have worked so hard collectively from the city to the Southland to more of the rural areas to make sure that this gets done. So when I first came to Congress in 2013, then Governor Quinn signed the South Suburban Airport Act. which gave IDOT the authority to build a new airport in the Southland to spur economic growth and enhance Illinois' world-class transportation system. This year, we finally have a law that mandates IDOT to seek qualified airport builders and make the dream of a South Suburban Airport a reality. 10 years ago, actually 20 years ago, I said building this airport is an essential step in enhancing the Southland's global profile and strengthening our local economy. Coming out of the pandemic, those words could not be truer today. I stand by our local leaders who are now more united and determined than ever to see this project through. Today we gather to thank our local leaders, mayors, the business community, laborers, clergy, and citizens for remaining steadfast in their support of this important project. I want to specifically recognize and thank the South Suburban Mayors and Managers, the Southland Regional Mayors Black Caucus, the Chicago Southland EDC, the Black Contractors Owners, and the executives, the Southland Friends of Labor, the Will County CED, the Economic Alliance of Kankakee County, and last but not least, the Chicago Southland Chamber of Commerce, which first endorsed this airport almost 30 years ago. So thank you to all of you. And we are here today to especially recognize and thank our Southland delegation in Springfield, led by Representative Will Davis, who drafted the bill, and Senator Napoleon Harris, who shepherded it through the Illinois Senate. Working on both sides of the aisle and in both chambers, Will Davis led a coalition of representatives, my heroes, Anthony DeLuca, Smith, Debbie Myers-Martin, Rita, Jones, and Walsh, Buckner, and former reps, I'm going to shout out them, Al Riley and David Miller, to fight for this important legislation. And Senator Napoleon Harris led Senators Joyce, Hastings, Hunter, Cunningham, Peters, Jones, Sims, and former Senator Jackie Collins, among others, who came to Washington, D.C. to advocate for the bill to secure statewide bipartisan support for the bill. Finally, I'm grateful to Governor Pritzker for signing this bill into law. Today, we are Southland strong, but we're about to get Southland stronger. Because while we celebrate this morning, this afternoon, it is back to work. We need to notify the aviation industry that Illinois is finally open for business for a new airport. We also need to build that new interchange on I-57 that was promised to us 5 years ago. We need to ensure that the requests for qualifications and requests for proposals will attract and encourage local participation in all aspects of airport planning, designing, building, and operating. We need to engage air cargo and logistics experts in the design and build so that this airport provides a platform adequate for future aviation needs, including cargo drones, and electric planes. We need to work with environmentalists so we build the first net zero carbon airport ever in the United States. And yes, that is a realistic goal. Finally, we need to make sure that the airport we build is the envy of the global aviation industry, as well as the foundation of local prosperity for generations to come. On behalf of local mayors, our Springfield delegation, and my Washington, D.C. colleagues, I'm eager to continue working with all the people and businesses of the Southland who will build and ultimately benefit most from this new airport. The last major new airport built in the U.S. was Denver in 1995, almost 30 years ago. It is time for America to build a new airport right here in the place we all call home. So buckle up in the Southland. It's time to prepare for a takeoff. And with that, it's my honor to introduce Senator Napoleon Harris and just thank you for all the work that you did to bring this.
Good morning. Y'all could do better than that. Good morning. There we go. This is a celebration. We're here united on all fronts, from the Southland strong, Southland united, because Governor Pritzker has signed House Bill 2531 into law, which is going to give IDOT the authority to seek pre-qualifications to see who wants to build an airport in the Southland. For far too long, this project has been set to the side. has been demonized, has been talked about, but now we finally get the question asked that we've all been waiting for. Is the airport coming? Does someone want to build it? Well, about a year from now, we'll finally have that answer. Because on January 1, when the bill takes effect, IDOT would now have the authority to do such a thing. I'm excited because this is just not a celebration because we all are sitting here as elected officials, but it's a celebration because now we collectively have an opportunity to revitalize the Southland through jobs. This doesn't just signify an airplane taking off or landing. This signifies jobs. This signifies economic opportunity. This signifies people wanting to move to Southland to raise their families, to build better education facilities, to incorporate all the aspects that incorporate with building the airport, the services, the professional service, the procurements, everything that entails that. I'm excited because I had the opportunity to present it in the Senate, but we cannot do it in a vacuum. I had great help in the Senate. I had Senator Pat Joyce, Senator Hastings, among others on the Senate side, going out and talking with folks who at the time didn't believe or didn't think it was necessary for the Southland to get its just due. So thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator, for working with me in the Senate, as well as our colleagues in the House, to get this across the line. I'll be remiss if I didn't give a shout out or thank you to one of my friends and predecessors of the Congress, former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. I remember being a young man in high school, grammar school, when the idea was floated, when he was championing this bill. And we was all excited because we were like, wow, an airport is going to be close to our neighborhood. He had the foresight to continue the fight, and I would thank Congresswoman Kelly for picking up the mantle and running with it as well. What has been previously stated is some people that don't get credit, who go to meetings time and time again. I want to thank Rick Bryant. Not only did I get the 3-hour presentation, but he was gracious enough to perform it for all the colleagues in the Senate, as well as the Senate President as well, to show the viability and the vibrance of the platform, and to all the countless meetings that he went to, the travels to go into other locations and other states, to seeing how they actually got it done. It was refreshing to see someone who still, after all of these years, maintained his passion for the project. So thank you, Rick, for all your hard work and everything that you do. I would like to thank my state representative, Will Davis. It has always been a pleasure to work with you, Will, on not just this bill, but other pieces of legislation as well. Your heart has always been in the right place, and you've been the champion for this project and many other projects that we collaboratively work on throughout the Southland region. Today, I'm happy and I'm ecstatic because the Southland is united on one front. I would like to thank the South Suburban mayors and managers who beat down the door all the time to make sure that their voices are heard and they advocate for their community. So give yourselves a round of applause, mayors. And to all the elected officials who had their hand in making this day a reality. Thank you. And with no further ado, I'm going to introduce my chief co-sponsor in the House, Representative Will Davis.
Hello, everyone. Can't tell you how good it is to be able to stand in front of you today. Today is a great day because we are celebrating something that has been long time in the works. As the senator talked about learning about this as a younger man, I actually worked in the office of Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. alongside Rick Bryant. So I was immersed in the conversation about the potential of this project and this airport for the years that I worked for the congressman. And now to have the opportunity as my own elected official, as an elected official, to have the opportunity to try to advance this project forward is absolutely tremendous. And as much as we talk about Southland and Southland Strong and Southland United, I don't want to miss the opportunity to also acknowledge our friends that are even a little further south in Kankakee County and obviously Will County where we are, but in Kankakee County and some of the other surrounding areas a little further south that are going to benefit from such a fantastic project. I don't think anyone can tell me that when you think about the existing 2 major airports that we have in the region, that great things aren't happening around them. it's growth, it's development, it's moving forward. It's the future of aviation, not just in terms of cargo, but also maintenance and all those things surrounding aviation. So when we look at those projects, we're just even more excited about the potential of what this project is going to do for us. So it's not just jobs and folks that will be working there. Obviously, there'll be a number of construction jobs because you got to build it. But one of the things that I've always advocated for as a legislator and that I'm excited about is the opportunities for minority contractors to have this, to be able to grow, to be able to build their businesses, and to be able to set forth the future of their legacy as well. So I'm excited to be here today. Again, Senator acknowledged Congressman Jackson, but we are so grateful and thankful to have such a strong Congresswoman standing here with us today. Been through a lot, but she's here today because this is important for her. Of course, let me not forget my House colleagues here that stood with me and voted yes for the bill, even our Republican colleagues that voted for it. So we had bipartisan support for moving this forward. So it wasn't just about an airport. As legislators, our job is to think about ways that we can grow our state, that we can create opportunity for the people who live in this state. Again, this is the epitome of doing just that. We've not had a large-scale infrastructure project in the Southland for many, many, many years. And this is just the beginning of that, because when you think about the way we are growing in the Southland, this project will just push us well into the future and will create so many other opportunities. Congresswoman Kelly talked about it being a net zero airport. There's a lot of conversation about green, about reducing your carbon footprint. What we've heard is that this can be the first net zero airport built, not only in the United States, and I'm not versed necessarily what's happening in other countries, but probably in the world. We will be the leaders in this, ladies and gentlemen. We will lead the way in terms of creating sustainability. The Southland, yet again, rises to the top. Talk about all the other areas and regions of the state that are doing great things, but the Southland will rise to the top because this will bring so much more to not only our region, but also to the state of Illinois. We need to do what we have to do for ourselves and not push development to our neighboring state, because that's what we're doing right now. It's moving to other states because business doesn't stop. They look for other ways to grow and to develop, and they're doing just that. I was fortunate enough yesterday to have a call with representatives from United Airlines, from their government affairs division, and we had a great conversation about looking at how the possibility of all of this coming together, not to interfere with how they're growing and developing as a passenger airline, but how the region can support not only all of the passenger airlines that we have, but the growth, exponential growth in cargo that we are experiencing out here in the Southland. It's said that we have 29 Amazon fulfillment centers from Indiana border going west through Joliet, 29 of them. I'm sure they are looking for ways to make their process a lot better. And having an airport in their backyard will certainly contribute significantly to that. So when we think about this being the very beginning, again, let's continue to work hard. Let's continue to advocate. Let's continue to talk positively about what we are bringing to our region and to the individuals that we all represent, whether we are state reps, state senators, mayors, county commissioners. I know a couple of our county commissioners are in the room as well. These are the people we represent, and our job is to make sure that we take care of them to the best of our ability, not just when they have the challenges with our spaces and we have to talk to the agencies on their behalf, but what the future of our region looks like. At some point, we're all not going to be in these positions. It's important for us to lay the foundation, to lay the framework so that the next generation of those leaders that we talk about, many of whom are probably students here at Governor State University, they're going to have to pick up the mantle and continue the legacy of what's being started right here today. So I'm pleased and honored to be here at Governor State. I was a little late because Dr. Green, G building didn't exist when I was a student here. So had to, figure it out a little bit. But nevertheless, I'm proud of the education that I got here at Governor State. My district director, Tawny Smith, also a public administration student here at Governor State. So, and this will help Governor State University when we think about the future of education, growing in logistics and all of the different degree programs that will contribute to such a project. The future is so bright for us. You know, if I could, I'd wear shades, as they say. But I'm thankful to all these individuals standing behind us. This is the beginning. We do have a lot of work to do. We are going to stay on top of it. We are going to make sure that IDOT puts out a proposal out there that welcomes bidders to come and say, yes, we'd like to build this airport. We'd like to partner with you and create this long-term sustainability here in the Southland. That's what good public policy is all about, and that's what we're about. Thank you all very much. Next, I'd like to bring my colleague, who's actually my seatmate in the House, who sits right next to me, Representative Debbie Myers-Martin.
Good morning, everyone. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here with my colleagues to celebrate the signing of House Bill 2531. And I want to thank the governor for signing that bill. Just a little slight side trip to tell you just how important this was to all of us in the Southland. When this bill came to the state government committee in the House, South Suburban Mayors and Managers was there, the Southland Chamber was there, and when it literally passed out of that committee, we cheered. We literally stood up and clapped, and that had never happened, I don't think, in any committee. So there is so much passion about this project. It's a huge victory for the South Suburban region. We are extremely encouraged because we now can truly envision possibilities of this new economic renaissance for the Southland. And I want to thank Congresswoman Kelly and her office, Rick Bryant, South Suburban Mayors and Managers, for continuing that struggle, as well as all of the longtime airport advocates for continuing a struggle that has gone on for many years. In fact, I feel like I was there at the beginning, to make this day possible. As Representative Davis said, he is my seatmate. We talk about this all the time. Representative DeLuca, Representative Rita, we all discussed how we could get this past the finish line. Now, there is still a lot of work that must be done, but we are ecstatic that we have taken this huge step on this long-awaited journey. So I thank you so much for being here, and it is my job to introduce the mayor of Hazel Crest, the village of Hazel Crest, as well as the former president of South Suburban Mayors and Managers, Mayor Bernard Alsbury.
Everybody's a little bit taller than me. Bring this down here. On behalf of the South Suburban Mayors and Managers Association, which actually have 45 members in the Southland and Will County, and over 700,000 residents and 20,000 businesses that we represent. Also, on behalf of the Southland Regional Mayoral Black Caucus, I'm here today to congratulate and honor this occasion. You know, let me take you back a little bit. I'm a kid from the way far south side of Chicago, and called, it was a gated community called Allgale Gardens. And as a young man, they were talking about a third airport way back then, building it right on that area. And as I went off to the military and came back in '87, I was sitting in the classroom with Dr. Bob Donaldson, who was a professor here. And he was talking about Jesse Jackson, Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. at that time, bringing an airport here, or bringing a conversation about the airport. Now, he said it may not be happening in our lifetime, but the airport is going to come. Now, he was right about one thing: the airport is coming, but it's in our lifetime, and that's important. And as we look at all elected officials here and the TV cameras and the community that's involved in this process, one thing that mayors are happy about, it's going to help with our taxes in our community. Because the growth of the Southland, the economic growth, moves us forward. It puts us on an even playing field so that our communities can grow, so we can stop moving money around to survive, but actually have people move in our communities, improve our schools, improve our neighborhoods with the money and the funds that come across with the tax dollars that it brings into our community. This is important. This brings the Southland on an even keel with our neighbors in the state of Illinois. So we as mayors, we're so happy. I am personally Southland proud that we're doing this. And my colleague Will Davis, who went to Governor State University, together was here at the same time. He was working for Jesse Jackson Jr. at the time this came about. I was a citizen at that time. But then I became a trustee, and we signed on the Village of Hazelcrest when Jesse said, who's going to sign on to help support this airport? And just about every Southland mayor or board approved it. Now, that was 20 years ago. But look where we are today. And Rick Bryant, I have to really give Rick Bryant another round of applause, because Rick, his enthusiasm, his research, and his not giving up made it possible for our congresswomen, our senators, and our state reps to continue to keep the dream alive. So today I want to thank you all for being here, and I will now introduce the next speaker, which is President of Economic Alliance for Kankakee, Mayor Tim Nugent.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Tim Nugent. I'm the president of the Economic Alliance of Kankakee County and also the mayor of Manteno, Illinois. And on behalf of the citizens of Kankakee County, I want to thank the General Assembly for passing and the governor for signing the legislation that can be the motivating force for building the first green airport in the United States. The South Suburban Airport, when built, will be the first net zero carbon airport, producing no greenhouse gases. It'll feature solar-powered lighting, geothermal heating and cooling for warehouses and terminals, and it'll have electric vehicles to transport personnel and cargo around the facility. This will be the first airport in the country to be carbon neutral from day one, and we hope that the legislation makes day one occur soon. Kankakee County manufacturers export over $1.5 billion in product now, but this airport will make it so much easier to increase that number double and triple-fold. It's time to show the rest of Illinois, the rest of the country, what a new airport in the Southland can do to enhance business, inspire growth, and nurture future development. So I also am proud to be here with all the mayors, the elected officials, everyone involved, everyone that has pushed this project for the last 20 to 30 years to get to where we are today. And when January 1 comes and the Illinois Department of Transportation starts looking for bids to build this airport, we hope that we're back here, well, within the next 18 months to be able to cut the ribbons to announce and to have this airport open and operational. So we appreciate everyone being here, and it's my honor then to introduce State Senator Michael Hastings.
The best part about a politician without a speech is it won't be that long. It depends, that's right. I just want to start by saying thank you to Dr. Green and Governor State University for hosting us here today. I'm just going to name a few minor roads that we have in the south suburbs. I-80, I-57, I-55, I-294, we have the BNSF Railway, we have the Rock Island, we have the Metro Electric. We have so many transportation networks here in the south suburbs. This is the final piece of the puzzle to connect all those together. And those roads, not only roads that people travel on, but those roads are roads that connect communities together. And if you look at who stands here behind us today, whether that's Mayor Nugent, whether that's David Miller in Linwood, where's Monica Gordon? I think I saw Monica Gordon. We have every single level of government represented here today. And that's a true testament of our communities together. But there's one person I didn't mention yet, and that's Congresswoman Kelly. Now, when this bill was signed, everyone celebrated. But Congresswoman Kelly didn't stop at the celebration. she held a meeting. What are we going to do next? How do we ensure that IDOT actually implements this piece of legislation? And that's why the Senate is going to request a special committee to make sure that there's proper oversight on IDOT to take a look at the process to ensure that we're meeting the checkpoints of establishing RFPs, RFQs. Also, there's been a question that's been had, do people really want to build this airport? There is no question in my mind, and I know there's others here in this crowd today, that there have been major developers, worldwide developers of airports that have been constructed not only here in the United States, remodeled in the United States, but across the North American continent that want to build the South Suburban Airport. So for those naysayers out there who think that this is just some far-out dream, it's not. And I'm going to quote the congressman, buckle up. The Southland is ready to take off, and we're ready to develop businesses around the Southland. And with that, I'm going to introduce one of probably the most visible and present entities that we have in the South Suburbs, our Southland Chamber of Commerce Chairwoman, Bonita Estelle. Bonita.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I am so incredibly excited about House Bill 2531. Much like many of the others who spoke here, I also have a long history with Congressman Jackson. I used to serve as Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson's Chief Operating Officer. Then I worked as the Chief of Staff for Alderman Sandy Jackson. So I've been hearing Rick Bryan in this airport for many, many decades, and I have seen it evolve from many different perspectives, and for that, I'm incredibly grateful. I'm grateful for Congresswoman Kelly picking it up and continuing to forge ahead with it. Many thought this day would never come, but here we are. So I am grateful for the coalition of not only the chambers, but many of our business partners who continue to work with us. And with that being said, not only do we celebrate, we need this airport. The Chamber was one of the first entities that signed on for the third airport, and in my installation speech, I made it clear that we need this third airport like we need oxygen, and we all know the critical role oxygen plays in our life. So I'm excited to stand here with all of our great, passionate elected officials who give so much of their day and time and lives to make this region a better place. And I'm excited to represent all of the businesses who look forward to this third airport becoming a reality. Why do we need it? It continues to be a top priority as it would provide the long-awaited economic stimulus that we need in order to grow and thrive. Why do we need it? When a region has a strong economy, businesses grow, and more members of our society are able to positively contribute to our society. Why do we need it? When a region has a strong economy, housing tax relief occurs, resulting in fewer vacant properties and stronger local budgets. You heard Mayor Ellsbury say the importance that a strong economy does have on local budgets and county budgets and federal budgets. So we need the tax base. When we have a strong economy, we have a safer community. You can study it, you can look at it, you can flip it upside down, but the problems that we're having with crime in our communities has nothing to do with anything except for we need funding. We need strong schools. We need strong programs. We need funding. And if we're not part of the solution, we are inevitably a part of the problem. We need this third airport. We need the economic stimulus it will bring to all the various businesses. We need the economic stimulus it will bring to local government. We need the economic stimulus it will bring to our schools and to our programs. So I stand here today in celebration with everyone who's already spoken. I am not going to hold you long, but I do want to go on record saying I am thrilled about this day and the prospects that it offers. And with that being said, I would like to bring up Reverend Dr. James E. Hunt, who will conclude us for today. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I think we need to have another round of applause for Congresswoman Kelly, Rick Bryan, and all these legislators. I want to suggest to you that there's been some sort of mistake this morning. I am a Baptist preacher, and I've been asked to close. And if you are familiar with Baptist preachers, we close 2 or 3 times. And so I brought prepared remarks. I was told I have a minute, and I know I've already used that minute, so please bear with me. At last, that's what Etta James famously sang so many years ago. But I'm certain that's what the people of Israel said when they finally entered the promised land. After 40 years of struggle, they had finally arrived at the doorstep of opportunity. And today, after 40 years of closed doors, detours, and obstacles, the South Suburban Airport is an idea whose time has finally arrived. But I submit to you this morning, this airport is about more than building runways and facilities. It's about building community. It's about maximizing the benefits of our many transportation assets. It's about showing the world how to build a green airport. It's about growing the Southland and the state's economy in such a way that it will lift all boats so that our children and our children's children can all prosper and live together in harmony. But more than anything, it's about the opportunity it presents for us here today. It has been said that opportunity often follows struggle, that it follows effort, that it follows hard work. Like the Israelites before us, we find ourselves on the doorstep of opportunity with still much left to do. It's time to celebrate opportunity with Governor Pritzker's signing of the South Suburban Airport bill. So now we can all sing with Etta James, at last, at last. Thank you.